pantalla. Y cuando le hagan clic, elijan el español y van a poder escuchar la voz de nuestros compañeros dando la interpretación. Yes.
Yes, Dr. Bonner just made you co-host. You should be good to go.
Thank you, everybody, for your patience as I'm still giving instructions. We're going to give it maybe 2 more minutes to wait for the rest of our panelists to join us and to allow more parents to come in, and then we will get started. Thanks, everybody, for joining today. Hey, Sarai, for some reason, my I can't type in the chat. So if you can add the links, that would be great.
Yes.
Ms. Pons, I need the host to allow me to show my video.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Sarai?
Yes, just doing that now.
Thank you. Thank you, ma'am. Dr. Jones, is there anybody else from your team that we're missing?
I think a couple more will be coming in later.
Okay. And would you guys be presenting the screen for your deck, or would you like us to present the deck?
Sorry.
No, you're good. You're good.
Dr. Bonner, would you like to present, or would you like it the face department to present?
Whichever one is easier, Ms. Pong.
It's up to you. I'm going to present an intro deck, and then I can just exit that, and then you can present. So you guys could go at your own speed. You have to tell me to change.
No problem.
Awesome. Okay, great. All right, folks. I see there's a lot of folks joining us. Thank you so much for coming in. Just give us 1 more minute as we get situated here, and then we're going to get started. And then allow me to give instructions to our Spanish speakers who are joining us, and then we'll get started. So, bienvenidos a todos, buenas tardes. Gracias por acompañarnos el día de hoy. Como saben, la sesión va a ser en inglés, pero tenemos a nuestros compañeros de la Oficina de Educación Especial que nos van a hacer el favor de dar la interpretación al español. Así es que, por favor, háganle clic al icono del mundo que ven en su parte de abajo de su pantalla. Háganle clic, escriban o elijan, perdón, español para poder escuchar la voz de nuestros compañeros que le van a estar dando la interpretación al español. So tomen estos 2 minutitos para hacer eso y escuchar la presentación. All right, thank you everybody for your patience as I provide instructions in Spanish. So we're going to get started. I'm going to try to present my screen as we give our Spanish speakers a couple of minutes to transition to the Spanish channel. And Sarai, if you can start recording. Thank you. So welcome everybody once again. Thank you for joining us today. And as the expert, really appreciate the time that you're giving us tonight. And just a couple of housekeeping rules. Just know that we are recording this session in order to share it through our YouTube channel with other parents who are not able to join us tonight, and have you guys see it again if you need it and share with other parents as well. Today we're going to have a conversation with Dr. Jones, Chief of ODLSS, and her amazing team is going to be here as well to support the conversation. We will have some time to do some Q&A. So please make sure if you have questions throughout the presentation that you do put it on the chat or use the Q&A function. But please do know that we might not have enough time to get through all your questions. Okay, so just keep that in mind. We'll try our best, but we might run out of time, so we might not get to all of them. And just some updates for our upcoming sessions. Tomorrow we have 2 sessions, one in Spanish, one in English for nutrition. And then on Monday we have an SEL workshop. On Wednesday, for those folks that are having kids going to high school, we have access and enrollment talking to us about Go CPS. So please join and share that information. And then again, we'll go back on Friday the 29th with our nutrition classes. And to register, as you guys know, you just click on the URL or scan the QR code to take you to our RSVP form where you guys can register for all the classes that we have available for you. So again, welcome everybody. Thank you for joining us today. We're very happy to have everybody here. My name is Berenice Pan. I'm from Chicago Public Schools with Department of Family and Community Engagement. And today we have Dr. Jones, Chief of ODLSS, joining us in this conversation. So Dr. Jones, if you want to introduce yourself and introduce your team.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Dr. Stephanie Jones. I'm the Chief of ODLSS, Office of Diverse Learning Supports and Services. I am here with Dr. Eric Bonner, our Executive Director of Instruction, Ms. Tamisha Bufford, our District Representative, Ms. Chow, from our translation team, as well as we have another member of our translation team here. Have to go to the panel. We're ready? Oh, well, I think we'll go ahead. We have another member of our translation team, Arabo Jal, that is also providing translation for us as well. So I believe we're ready to get started into the deck. Is that okay, Ms. Pons?
Yep, you guys are good to go. Go for it.
Oh, and we also thank you, Ms. Coleman has joined us as well. Well, again, good afternoon, everyone. As I stated, my name is Dr. Stephanie Jones. I am the Chief of ODLSS. I want to thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to join us today. As we approach the second quarter of school, we are sharing information around our academic programs. Since the window for Go CPS is open and the deadline is December 15th, is quickly approaching, I thought it would be a great opportunity to discuss our K through 12 grade plus school assignment programming. Here is a quick review of our CPS vision and mission, ensuring that we are focused on our three main components: academic progress, financial stability, and integrity. Equity is a moral imperative, and the district is focused on equitable responding to students and family needs during this time. Our department's mission and vision also connects back to the district's core values. The ODLSS mission is to provide equal education for all diverse learners in the least restrictive environment. We will enhance the convergence between administrators, teachers, parents, advocates, and community members across our district. Our vision is to have a strong relationship with all stakeholders while supporting diverse learners to reach their optimal potential academically, socially, and emotionally. Today, we will review some of our academic placement programs for scholars K through 12 grade plus. Our agenda for today will cover early childhood evaluations, 9th grade school assignments, extended school age transition planning documents, PUN services, our annual transition fair, inclusive of our parent after hours, and finally, parent feedback and outreach. Please remember to mute your microphone during the presentation. Q&A session will take place at the end. We will first start off discussing our early childhood evaluations and placements. The district is obligated to conduct evaluations of all non-attending students who are entering preschool or are eligible for preschool services. These students come to the citywide assessment team, known as the CATS by acronym, through three primary referral sources: early intervention, Head Start agencies, CPS Child Find Screening Team. The Child Find Screening Team completes development screenings from birth through 5 years old. Please see the link provided in the chat for the Child Find regional flyer for this school year. Monthly sessions are held on the last Thursday of each month to go over early interventions to early childhood transition processes and procedures. Contact the citywide assessment team manager with any questions. Please note, the Office of Diverse Learning Supports and Services works closely with the Office of Early Childhood Education to provide all students with access to high-quality, individualized instruction. The child's IEP type guides the type, scope, and assignments of services and supports the child receives from Chicago Public Schools in the least restrictive environment. The Go CPS option has opened for our students needing school assignments for the 9th grade. To be included in the 9th grade lottery, parents must do the following. Parents must make their 9th grade school choice, at least 5, in the Go CPS by Wednesday, December 5th by 5 p.m. The school year 22-23 9th grade IEP for students requiring an assignment will be finalized during the spring semester. Parents are encouraged to access the ODLSS program map located on the ODLSS services and supports page. Please note, if no school choices are provided in Go CPS, the student's assignment will be determined based on the schools closest to the home with a program and available seat. School year 22-23 9th grade letters for students who have met the submission timeline and have IEPs written to reflect the requested program type for school year 22-23 will receive their offer letters through Go CPS. And there's also should be a link provided to sign up for the Office of Access and Enrollment Communications. For students 18 to 22, we are able to offer extended school age transition programs. While in high school, IEP teams will use data to determine if extended school age 18 to 22 transition programming is appropriate for your child. Please speak with your school's case manager and district representative for more information on the process of qualifying for a specific program that meets the needs of your student. Furthermore, if you need support for or have any questions related to transition planning, please email ODLSS transition, transition at cps.edu. Now we'll talk about House Bill 40 and House Bill 2748, which was recently passed. It allows, House Bill 2748 allows for students who turn 22 years of age during school year 2021 school year, the opportunity to be provided an extended period of IEP services through school year 2021-22. House Bill 40 allows for students who turn 22 during their school year to stay until their last day of school. Again, House Bill 40 allows for students who turn the age of 22 during a school year to remain until the end of the school year. The focus of the bill is on in-person instruction that was suspended for 3 or more consecutive calendar months, and this applies to House Bill 2748. House Bill 40 and House Bill 2748 does not allow the following: students who were no longer residents in a district they attended at the time of their 22nd birthday, private therapeutic day or residential services for students who have aged out of the program. Please know, House Bill 40 and House Bill 2748 communication has been provided to all school administrators. The required communication went out by the U.S. Postal Mail to identify eligible families. In addition, 2 email communications was sent to all email addresses that are on file. A robocall also went out to all phone numbers that we had on file, and more information can be found on the CPS ODLSS Special Education website landing page in English and Spanish. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact area code 773-553-1000 1815 or House Bill 2748 at cps.edu. Again, we encourage all families who are interested in their student returning as it relates to House Bill 2748 to please go to our website if you have not received any questions, as there is a deadline for applying for to return for this school year. Every school has a development plan that adheres to the following tenets. We will follow the comprehensive health and safety protocol CPS developed in coordination with the Chicago Department of Public Health. We will provide in-person instruction. We will provide daily instruction to all students in accordance with instructional time requirements. Schools have created plans that specify each teacher classroom assignment, each student's classroom assignment, daily schedules for in-person services. Please know we are committed to providing programming to our students. We continue to focus on their academic, social, and emotional growth. Parents are able to request a cloth face covering due to medical reasons for their child. The form can either be requested from the school or can be found online in the reopening guides for parents. This form needs to be completed by the parent and a medical professional. After the parent has returned the completed form to their school, the school nurse will review and submit the information into our student information system, also known as ASPIN. And an indicator on the student's profile will indicate to school staff that the accommodation has been approved. Staff at the school and the Department of Transportation will be able to review the indicator to ensure that the student's accommodation is followed. Students must wear a cloth face covering unless they have an approved accommodation. Some parents have asked about support for their child if they do have an accommodations. Supports for students with cloth face covering will still be provided, and staff will follow the social distancing to the greatest extent possible. Notifications to parents that a student has a cloth face covering accommodation will not be utilized so as to not reveal any one student's medical information. General notification will be shared to all parents at the school. Let's take a minute to discuss our students' transition planning documents. Once your child turns 14 and a half, or a transition plan will be part of the annual IEP review process. The format of the transition plan has been updated this school year to support thorough development of the plan integrated throughout the IEP document. As a part of the transition planning process, your child is now required to be invited to the IEP meeting and will be encouraged to be an active member of the team. The transition planning process will help guide readiness in the areas of post-secondary education, training, employment, and independent living. We all know transition is, as we will now transition to talk about the PUN service. Who typically qualifies for PUNs and who gets your child on the list for PUNs? Please note that the PUNs, which is identified as the Prioritization for Urgent of Needs for Services, is a statewide database that records information about individuals who have developmental disabilities who are potentially in needs of services. Who typically qualifies for PUNs? Anyone who has a developmental disability as identified by the state of Illinois. This includes an IQ below 70, which is identified as mild, moderate, severe to profound intellectual disability, cerebral palsy, epilepsy, autism, traumatic brain injury, or as a related condition if displaying significant limitations in 3 out of 6 major life areas: self-care, self-direction, language, learning, mobility, capacity for independent living. It is important to note the onset of the disability has to be before 18. In order to get on the PUNS list, you must schedule an intake appointment with your local ISC agency. For students residing north of Roosevelt in Chicago, this is a Community Alternative Unlimited, CAU. At the intake appointment, the ISC agency will complete something called a pre-admission screening. This is an interview/intake to determine whether or not your child or the individual is eligible for PUNS. Please take a minute to review the slide to see what agency supports are in your location. As mentioned, CAU is the agency that supports students on the north side of the city, and CSO is the agency that supports students on the south side of the city. Our transition department will be hosting our annual transition fair on October 26th at Malcolm X College. We are happy to announce that we will be providing a parent after hour session as well on October the 26th, 2021, from 3 to 5 p.m. at Malcolm X College, which address is 1900 West Jackson Boulevard. We also will provide the link for registration. The following will be available for parents at the event: Community Agency Fair, with community agencies available to discuss their services; job fair, with employers to discuss employment opportunities; college and vocational training program representatives; workshops in which parents can learn about various topics related to post-secondary readiness, including "My child is aging out, what is next?" divisions of rehabilitation services and supports, and understanding adult benefits. Please note, masks will be required for all participant attendees, regardless of vaccination status. Hand sanitizer, social distancing, and other precautions will be taken in alignment with health and safety guidelines outlined by the Chicago Department of Public Health. We want our families to feel supported, especially as they navigate having their student in school. Over the past couple of months, ODLSS has hosted virtual town halls meetings for parents and has participated in various community forums to help provide information and answer questions. This team has also created a comprehensive Q&A for families, and we recently added a form on the ODLSS homepage where parents can request assistance. In addition to distributing our first ODLSS monthly parent newsletter. And much like everything else we've done, we will continue to look for additional opportunities to engage families. Feedback from our families is critical. It's critically important to us. It has led to numerous process improvements, including the use of DocuSign to save our families time filling out forms, creating a parent helpline, and developing simplified, family-friendly material. Please look out for our next November FAB meeting, which is our Family Advisory Board, our parent newsletter, and utilize the ODLSS newsletter feedback feature. Again, it is important, and we want to hear your voices and leverage the information you feel is necessary for our upcoming newsletters. We will now continue with some of our pre-submitted questions. So we have any, Ms. Pons? If not, I'd like to.
Thank you, Dr. Jones. Yeah, we didn't, but I'm actually gonna take this time to ask a couple questions that I know are probably in parents' mind and give parents a little bit of time to soak in all the information that you guys provided. And then parents, type in your question. It's okay if you type it in Spanish. I'll read it out and then translate it. So don't worry if you're not an English speaker. Yo la puedo leer, así es que pónganla en el chat, por favor. But one of the questions you mentioned, the fair you guys are going to have for families. So today we have two of your team members provide an interpretation for us. Are you guys going to have this available in Spanish where there'll be interpreters? How can our Spanish speakers join in?
So Ms. Pons, thank you so much for the question, and whoever that submitted that, thank you for the question. We are in the works right now to ensure that we are having transponders available for the after session. And so we'll be able to then provide those transponders where they are able to then utilize that device to have interpretation services available to them.
Great. No, thank you for that. So parents, I know we have a lot of our parents who are Spanish speakers here with us today. So if you want to attend, you guys can do it, and there's going to be support for you guys as well. So making sure that our parents know that that's taking place. I know there's people with the hand up. So this is a webinar style kind of meeting. So if you have a question, just put it in the chat, and then I'll voice it over and we're able to answer your question. So if you guys have a question, take some time now to put it in the chat, and then we can voice it over and ask that question. I know you talked, and I'm going to probably pronounce this wrong, the ponds, right, that you guys talked about. So would you guys have at the fair someone who would be providing a little bit more information about that? Or where can our parents get more information if they're kind of like trying to figure out if they should start looking into that or not?
So once again, I appreciate that question. We will have our transition manager there, Ms. Jessica Sipovic. She'll be there attending the session, and we'll be able to then ask questions in regards to that. We also provided some links for parents to the official PUNS network to be able to then go and ask questions, look on there for more information. And at any time, you can always email ODLSS transition@cps.edu to then have your questions answered. And then I always make myself available also as well. And so if you have any additional questions, you're more than welcome to email myself at edb ONNER Ed Bonner at cps.edu with those questions, and I will facilitate those and get them to the appropriate stakeholders.
For sure. No, thank you. I know it's hard sometimes to remember our own phone number
I
and
know.
email. We don't email ourselves. No, I totally get it. People ask me for my number. I'm like, I don't know it. Let me look it up in my email. So I totally get that. No, thank you so much. Parents, if you have questions of any of the information that was provided, please put it in the chat, and then we'll read it over or voice it over so that some of our experts can answer some of those questions. I'll move to maybe another question. I know transition for our kiddos, right? Even, our students has been hard through COVID, right? And transitioning back into the building. Can you guys talk a little bit about what you've heard from teachers of how the kids are doing, or from some of our families that I know have some contact with, and some of the supports that you guys put in place for those families and students?
I can start, Dr. Bonner, and you can pick up. One of the things in our earlier town hall, so thank you for that. I apologize, Ms. Pons. One of the things we provided in our town hall earlier as school was preparing to open was information and strategies. It was really geared toward parents, and strategies of really helping our kids prepare for returning back to school. And so it was really, we provided quite a bit around making sure parents had strategies to utilize at home to really normalize this process of returning back. And that support continues to be available for our parents and our students and our staff. One of the things going out, I've been out to several schools. I try to make that a very common practice for myself. And our students, hearing from our students is really important. Hearing from our teams, checking in to see if we have the necessary resources to be successful. And our children are so resilient. Met a young lady she said it was very difficult the first day. She was really nervous, quite a bit of anxiety. And she says, they just really made me feel good. And so every day is better than the day before. And so, again, our kids are really resilient, really strong, and really eager to learn. And we're eager to have them. And so, Dr. Bonner, if you want to add anything additional, sir.
You asked the question one more time, Ms. Pons.
Yeah, no, just no worries. Just kind of, what kind of resources you guys put in place to support families transition and coming back into the building? As we were all of us, right? And even, my munchkin was out for a while. Like, how did we support those kiddos coming back? And like Dr. Jones said, she's visiting schools and talking to some of the kiddos. Like, if you talk to any of the kids, like, what are they
Yep.
saying? How are they feeling?
And so I'm glad that Dr. Jones was able to speak about that. I've had the opportunity of visiting some of our specialty schools. I visited Northside, also had an opportunity to visit Ray Graham, and also in particular with that. And then also I had an opportunity to visit Lane Tech to see how our scholars has a large, diverse learning cluster population there, to have an opportunity to speak with those school leaders. And they're doing a phenomenal job in making sure that we are able to then welcome those scholars back in. The one thing that has hit me as a former school leader is that the smiles that are on their faces that are there. Everyone seems happy to be there. All the kiddos are there, happy to then be able to participate in the cluster classes, and the opportunities that they're being able to then be provided 5 days a week in-person instruction is instrumental. Along with that, we've made sure that we are partnering with our SEL department, Ms. Antonopoulos, and being able to then provide those social emotional learning supports for our scholars that are at those buildings. And so the counselors are doing amazing jobs. The school leaders are doing an amazing job. And most importantly, I want to make sure that we shout out our school, those instructional leaders, our teachers, who are doing an amazing jobs, because they are the superheroes that are there every single day and making sure to welcome those scholars back into the building. I think essentially that's the high thing that I got from this. I had an opportunity to have a conversation with a scholar at Northside, and I was so excited that he was able to articulate the job that he had in their learning space in regards to their kitchen, and just seeing the phenomenal things that our diverse learners are being able to then be offered there with the school leader, and then having the scholar and have an opportunity to practice self-advocacy and then talk through what's then available for them was just phenomenal. It warmed my heart. I talked about it. I mean, it was essential. And so I think those things are what is imperative in order to make sure that our scholars are here in person, and the fact that they want to be here. They were trying to sell me food and give me things for free, but I was like, no. I took a drink of water, but I was so happy to then see those types of things and those interactions with our youth.
For sure. No, thank you for that. And I think it's important that you both share, right? You're out in the school, engaging with our students, engaging with the teachers and the staff, and really making sure that we're being supportive of our students. And I think sometimes we don't know as parents what's going on, or like if you guys are out there. So it's really good to hear that you guys are making time to actually talk to the kids, making sure that they're, like you said, have that smile, are working through their progress, and you're able to take it back to us in the central office, right? And sharing that, and knowing that the work that everybody's doing, it's actually paying off, and the kids are happy and they're learning. So I really appreciate you guys sharing those experiences with us. Perrin, go ahead.
Really quickly, I'm nothing without a great team. And so I want to make sure to say that. And it's so nice that you recognize myself, but without the great team that I lead, I want to talk about our instructional quality team who I lead, and they have an opportunity, and they're always out in the field. And so that's led by Ms. Langness, who may be coming on here a little bit later, and Ms. Rush, who's our manager of instructional quality. They're the boots on the ground every single day. And so I'm happy to be able to then lead that instructional quality team, because what the support they're providing for our instructional leaders, our teachers, I think is imperative. That ongoing professional development that they're having set up for our teachers is imperative. The professional development for our cluster programs is imperative that they're leading. And so I'm always able to then recognize them when I get the opportunity. I'm being able to then smile and kiss babies and do those types of things. And I appreciate that. But the people that really do the work, I've been afforded an opportunity to have a seat at the table, but they are really the boots on the ground that are intricate in this work every single day of making our teachers feel welcome to come back to to schools. So then that can lead down to our young scholars. And so Ms. Rush and Ms. Langness, and they're leading that instructional quality team at all times, and also with our special education administrators. And then I don't want to seem to forget our district representatives, because our district representatives are also doing the work that ensuring that compliance is being entailed and providing those services to our parents, our scholars, our school leaders, and then essentially leads out into our community. And so we definitely want to make sure that we're highlighting them, although I've had an opportunity to do this, but I think they are intricate in the work. Everyone that we oversee in this department of many different workers, I always want to make sure to highlight them when we're talking about what's going on out there in the schools.
And if I
Yeah,
could add,
go
only
ahead.
because Ms. Pons, this department is huge. And so we are, again, just to piggyback from Dr. Bonner, we are nothing without our related service providers, our itinerants, and everyone else, our behavior team. I'm going to stop calling out department units in our department because there's so many, and I do not want anyone to feel offended if we did not mention them. But I also want to say leveraging and increasing our partnerships with our network chiefs, our school leaders has been very intricate. And one of the things that we're adding on is starting an ESY steering committee this year, which is a collaboration between network offices, school administrators, as well as our educators, to ensure that we're able to, and our plan is to add our parents part of this as well, where we're able to really hear the things that have gone well, the challenges, so that we can work together to make the improvements that are necessary. I don't have all the answers. No one person does, but we're only as strong as our partnerships. And that's what we're really trying to continue to build and enhance for the sake of all of our children in Chicago Public Schools.
No, thank you for that. And I think that's super important. And thank you for bringing that up. I think a lot of us parents, unless we're in CPS, we might know a little bit of how things work and who's doing what. But as a parent, sometimes we don't know the literally army of people that are behind something. So I really am thankful for both of you for mentioning that, right? Just the support for parents. I know we work with your team very closely in bringing workshops for parents. You know, all of the supports working with the staff and the teachers. I think it's important for parents to understand, like, there's a whole lot of people supporting the students and their teachers to really make sure that they have a great learning experience here at CPS. I really appreciate both of you guys mentioning that as well. So thank you for that. Parents, the chat is open. If you want to add your question or your comment, you can do so. We also posted all of the links that were mentioned in the presentation and the phone numbers and emails. So you guys can copy those up, or we will send you an email after the session to through your RSVP email so that you have that information. As we go ahead.
I know there was one question that was might have been presented and could have possibly might have missed it, but I would like to bring Ms. Bufford here to really speak about the SSCA briefly, if that's okay.
Yep. Okay. I'm trying to see. Okay. Let me bring her in. All right. Sorry, guys, we're moving someone from a guest to panelist. Give us 1 second.
Good afternoon. I was having a slight technical difficulty and want to thank you for allowing me to speak regarding student-specific corrective action. I just wanted to remind our parents and let all of our parents know that at this time, the district is moving forward with parent-requested meetings. And if any parent would like to have a meeting to discuss any potential delays or denials during the 2016-17 school year or during the 2017-18 school year, please feel free to reach out to ssca@cps.edu.
Fantastic. And you have access to the chat. So if you want to put that in the chat, sorry, because I didn't catch it, that would be awesome.
Unfortunately, I do not have access to the chat at this time.
If you say it to me again slowly, I will put it on for you.
Thank you. ssca@cps.edu.
There you go. Awesome. And I think we do have a question in the Q&A. I don't know, Dr. Jones, were you going to say something before I interrupted you? I'm so sorry. Okay, so
No,
we do have.
Ms. Bufford.
So we do have a question on the Q&A from a parent. And the question is, or a couple of questions is, which schools have programs for students with dyslexia? Sorry if I said it wrong. And are there schools that definitely have Wilson certified teachers? And are they listed in Go CPS?
So I'll take that question, and I know Ms. Langness was going to be on here today, and I don't know if she's actually in the chat. If you can look and see if Rachel Langness is here.
I'm looking.
She's here.
You too.
She's in the
I don't see
attendee.
her. Oh, okay. I see her. Let me move her up. All right. Here we go. So again, I think the question from the parent was specifically about Go CPS, if there's any schools that have Wilson certified teachers, and are they listed in the application on the Go CPS site?
So I can go ahead and talk a little bit about that. I want to make sure to give my team the floor and be able to have an opportunity, so you just don't hear from Dr. Bonner. But what I can tell you is that as of right now, they are not listed within the Go CPS. As far as at my understanding, they're not listed in the Go CPS. What we have done is that we've utilized our schools where we're looking at the moving forward together in regards to that, and partnering with them in order to talk with expand our Wilson trained teachers. We have gone from 44 to over 120 of our 3-day trainings for those instructional leaders to then be trained, our Wilson trained. In regards to that, we are looking to continuously expand those 3-day trainings as well. And so schools have been identified through filling out a Google form, and that we looked at for equitable purposes. We've gone through and looked at where that fit needs to happen at for those schools that probably have already had someone train at their school. However, if it wasn't through moving forward together with our partnership with Teaching and Learning and ODLSS, we looked at utilizing our special education administrators who come up with a strategy plan to then look at how they're going to then identify the need for that, and then making sure that we as equitable as equity is the theme of our district, making sure that instructional leaders had an opportunity to sign up for those 3-day trainings. The trainings are held at approximately 30 to 45 teachers per session. And so that's with the scale that we're partnering with Wilson to make that allowable. And so we looked at that piece first. As I said, this is not a one and done. I can tell you that training happened in the summer. We plan, or what my hope would be, is to have that on a semester basis, and also within the fall, which we've had training that happened in the fall. We're trying to add on additional trainings right now and making sure, but we have to make sure that we're partnering with Wilson in order to then utilize the scale that they have in order to train our teachers. We are the 3rd largest district in the nation. So making sure that we're being purposeful with identifying our diverse learner teachers who want to be participants in that work, and then making sure that we're utilizing them to then be 3-day trained. And so that's the first part, Ms. Pons. We can move into the second lane, is where we're identified our 1-year certification, Tier 1 certification. And that's a partnership with Wilson also that we've been able to then utilize. And then 20 teachers have been identified by looking at having a 1-year rigorous certification process that we don't own CPS. I always like to give that out, making teachers know that as a former principal, that they must complete assignments, go through the Wilson format, in order that is a year-long professional development that is utilized, that is mentored through Wilson, and being able to then utilize that. I see Ms. Langness just came on. That's my partner in crime. But just making sure that we are looking at those 20 teachers, and that we are diverse learner teachers, being able to provide that support through Wilson. It doesn't stop there. And I always like to say that because our office is about supporting. I want to make sure that we're able to then provide that support. And so we've utilized our special education administrators by networks to then be able to also then provide that professional development, because PD is essential, but making sure that it's being implemented. And so we're following through with those type of protocols to make sure that we're ensuring that the learning is going to happen within our buildings, and partnering with our instructional leaders and finding ways to look at that. And I can talk to you. I will turn it over now to Ms. Langness, who can talk to you a little bit about that strategy plan that she charged her special education administrators with, about how to then identify and then support, because that's the primary thing that we want to be able to talk through, is how we're supporting that work. Ms. Langness?
Thank you so much, Dr. Bonner. I think you shared a lot about what is happening, and I'll add a little bit of nuance here to that. We can train as many teachers as we can, right? But we also want to ensure that they're not just trained, but they actually have the skill set and the support to implement with fidelity. And so Dr. Bonner spoke a little bit about like how we're rolling out supports to do that. And right now what that looks like is we are providing the opportunity for our newly trained teachers and previously trained teachers to come together monthly to hone in on their practice. We have certified Cs who have gone through the certification process, the special education administrators who will be leading those spaces to do drill practices, to talk about best practices for different students, to ensure that challenges that are coming up with scheduling, those types of things, they have the opportunity to really hone in on. So when they go into their classrooms, they are truly utilizing the Wilson methodology with fidelity. And that is ongoing throughout the year. And then not only will we have those spaces, but as we do audits across the city, our Cs do, the team does, we will get to determine who actually needs more coaching, or who are our champion teachers that we can bring our other teachers to watch and see them implement Wilson at the highest levels of rigor and fidelity. And so figuring out some other ways to ensure that not only do we have all these trained teachers, but that they're actually utilizing it to have a profound impact for students. And we're really excited about that.
No, that's great. I think you guys gave us tons of information of what you're doing and how you're doing it and how teachers are able to take advantage of this. And this is great. I think sometimes as parents, we don't know what's happening in the back, right? And we just see like our students and they're going to school. So it's really interesting to really see and hear all the things you guys are putting in place to support the teachers so they can really support our students, and that we're like the entire family, right, gets connected. So I really appreciate you guys taking the time to explain all that to us, and knowing that, you know, teachers are learning from each other, right? So we're not just bringing this person who might just know, right? Like it's someone who's actually with the kids, who's been in the system, which I really appreciate. Teachers learning from each other and best practices and how to support the different communities that we have here in the city of Chicago. So thank you guys for that. So parents, if you have any other questions, you can put it in the chat or the Q&A. I think the other question that we had as part of this one was about where would parents find specific programs for students. I know the question was for students with dyslexia. So is there, like, where would parents go if they know like their student's autistic or something like that? Like where would they go to find the best fit for a school for their kiddo? Do we have something, or can they just call you guys in the hotline and direct them?
So we do have a program site. So we do have a program site, and I think I shared that a little bit earlier. I hate to be taking over, but we have a program site where we can talk through that. They're always also able to then utilize our email address, ODLSS@cps.edu, to make sure they're asking more questions. Once again, I'm also another resource. I just always say that, just in resource. I ensure that I try to answer back to all parents within 48 hours, 24 to 48 hours. That's just best practice, I think. And I think I've learned it from being a leader, ensuring that I'm answering those questions. And so more than happy to then pull those to ourselves. In addition to that, I like to lend my team members, Ms. Langness and is able to then facilitate some of those questions also as well. If we're talking about specific programs, no, Ms. Langus, I didn't know to take over a little bit, can talk a little bit through structured literacy and what that looks like, and how that is then able that's developed out to our schools. And we can talk about that a little bit through our campuses, but always I'm more than welcome to then have those meetings with parents, have those discussions, and then also hear the feedback about what they feel that is necessary. Can't promise you everything, and I don't make promises, but one thing I can promise is that we can have a discussion, and that helps drive decisions when we're at the table. Ms. Langus, do you want to expand a little bit about Dr. Jones? I'm sorry.
Structured literacy. No, thank you, Dr. Bonner.
Mhm.
I also want to say that in the Go CPS, there's also a tool, a feature that identifies the programs that are available as far as what our students are in need of. So if you have programs where it's like you have to consider being accessible in regards to services, the cluster programs, those are highlighted on our feature for CPS, as well as we also have, if it warrants a school assignment, we do have the school assignment team that Dr. Bonner supports as well, that will also, and our priority is to find the school closest to the home that meets the needs for other students per their IEP. So those are a few resources that are available in addition to my amazing team that is very responsive and willing and flexible to support all of our parents and staff. Ms. Langus.
Thank you, Chief. Bernice, I want to make sure I heard your question correctly before I respond. You were asking if where parents can figure out where there are actual dyslexia programs across CPS. Okay, great. We don't actually have dyslexia programs, right? We ensure, our goal is to ensure that teachers know how to teach structured literacy across our city. So students that need that type of support have access to a teacher within their school that can provide that. So that is truly how we think about that. And part of how we ensure that teachers have that is through our expansion of Wilson and just structured literacy more broadly in partnership with the Department of Literacy. As you might have heard them also say, that we are doubling down on our structured literacy initiative. So there is a trained teacher in some type of structured literacy in every school. That is an aspiration.
Got it. No, thank you for that. I appreciate it. So parents can really be confident, right? That there's somebody in their school who's able to support their kid. I think that's what everybody wants, right? A person who is able to support them. So thank you guys for highlighting that. And the amount of training that you guys are providing for our teachers and our support staff is amazing. So thank you guys for that. And I know we're almost getting close to end time for our session. So what I want to do, give parents another minute in case there's another question that they want to put in the Q&A or the chat. So let's give them a minute or two to do that. But in the meantime, as we're closing down, I want to go through each of you.
You have some questions in Spanish?
Oh yeah, they were asking about the channel. So I send them to the channel. Yeah, no, thank you for that, Dr. Jones. The other thing I want you guys to think about as we're closing up, from all the information you guys provided, and I'll go through each of you guys, what is like the key thing that you would want parents to take away from today? So I'll give you a minute or two to think about that. And let me see if there's any questions on the Q&A or the chat. And then we'll get started with you guys to close this up. So what's the main thing that you would want parents to take today from the information you provided?
I can start.
Go ahead. Go ahead, Dr. Jones.
Okay. So one of the things I would say, maybe I shouldn't have, almost felt like a sneeze, sorry. I think what I would love for parents to take away is that ODLSS has really moved in a direction of being being transparent and really wanting to working extremely hard in order to increase our partnership and trust to ensure that we get this right. We recognize that we are just one person standing alone cannot have all the answers. But again, together, we can absolutely ensure that our students have exactly what they need when they walk out of our institution. As a parent of a child with a disability myself, I absolutely understand the challenges of navigating special education and the challenges of having high expectations for your child and may not quite feel like you're getting that same feedback back. But I just want to say that our team is 100% committed to supporting our schools and our school leaders with having the resources and tools that they need to meet the needs of our children. And we absolutely want to hear from our parents and our team members to say, what else is needed? What shifts do we need to make to ensure that we get this right?
Thank you, Dr. Jones, for that. Appreciate it.
And so I appreciate Dr. Jones leading into that. And the one thing that I want parents to be able to take away from this today is what I always say is support. I think that's what I really want you all to know is that that's in my bones, it's in my blood, how we really are able to then support and be advocate and liaison to the work. And so as a former coach, I believe there's no I in team. That's a cliche, but I truly believe that there's no I in team and I'm only as good as the team that I'm on. And so I always make sure to highlight them. And with that team, the team encompasses parents. And so I want you to know that. And so the team is in the foundation of it is inclusive of our parents with our partnerships that we're going to be able to build with them and being able to create those healthy spaces and forums to have that healthy dialogue, which I'm happy to have this today, Ms. Pons. And so creating these types of forums to be able to create that dialogue with them. And then the next piece I would like to view all the takeaways that knowing a little bit personally within the instructional quality team of what I feel is real. Our philosophy is implementation of the 4 C's of communication, collaboration, critical thinking, and creativity. And so we try to expand on all those 4 C's when we're working with parents and all the way down from our office down to the schools, down to the teams that we lead. And so ensuring that we implement those 4 C's of education is going to be something that I think that moving forward together, we are going to then do wonderful things. Turn it over to Ms. Langs to close us out.
Oof, big shoes to fill here.
Oh, no.
Thank you both for sharing that. I think a big theme I heard that I actually wrote down when Bernice asked this question is partnership. I would hope, my hope and aspiration is from this space is that everyone knows that we have to work in partnership, and I'm committed to working in partnership to ensure our students have the best educational opportunities and the ones that they that are best for them. And I say that, and I got a little choked up because I myself have a disability and I saw a public school fail me throughout my journey in education. So this work is personal. And I want to ensure that no student has an experience like I had that didn't have the tools and opportunities to excel because of a learning disability. And so I'm excited to being in more of these spaces with all of you and partnering because we can't do this work without all of you. And so
Thank you guys. No, thank you so much. And thank you for sharing your personal stories. I think that's also key for our parents to know, right? That it's not just the work that we do from 9 to 5, right? This is something that we really believe in and that it's personal to all of us. I really appreciate that and bringing that to the forefront where parents know that we are also parents, we were also students, and we're all in this together. So I really appreciate that. So with that, I'm going to close this up. Guys, thank you so much, Dr. Jones, Dr. Bruno, everybody in your team, amazing. Thank you so much for coming on and joining us in this Thursday, I think cold afternoon. It started raining over here a little bit. And for parents, giving you your afternoon. I know parents, you're super busy working with the kids, getting dinner ready. So making this time for us and really learning with us as a community, it's really important and we really value your time. So we really appreciate you guys joining us. So with that, thank you, everybody, and have a great night, and we'll see you guys soon.
Thank
Bye-bye,
you.
everybody.
Have a good evening.
Thank you.